But I guess what we can start off with is you've had the nursery for 12 years.
Yep.
What was Bobbie doing 12 years prior to that?
Okay.
Or, sorry, not 12 years prior to that. What were you doing before the nursery?
So before the nursery, I was working in a nursery.
Oh, okay.
So just going back, I've always had the passion of working with children. I think it goes back to me. There's three of us. I'm the eldest. We've got quite a small family. There's my mum and her brother and sister. So then their kids were around. But I'm the eldest of all the cousins and the siblings. So I've always had the passion of working with children, playing with them, kind of playing like a mum figure. So growing up, I knew I wanted to be in childcare, but I didn't know what I wanted to do in childcare. So it was like, do I want to be in a nursery? Do I want to be in a hospital? Do I want to be a babysitter? All these things came into place. So before starting the nursery, I was working in a nursery. I worked in a big chain. I was there for about 7 years and met some really good people and I learned a lot. But I knew I didn't want to stay there and I wanted to be my own boss. And I wanted to do things a little bit different, follow the rules, but I wanted to add a bit more fun, excitement. I wanted to build people. I wanted to build children, and build their confidence and, give them that extra push to go and do something. So that's where it's come from. So I worked in a nursery.
Yeah, because like I said, first person that I've spoken to that has set up a nursery. It's not very common that you hear someone set up a nursery. I guess the first question would be is the inspiration behind it. I know you mentioned you wanted to add your own spin to it. Was that the sole reason why you set up your own nursery? Were you when you were working for the nurseries, were you seeing I'm not really liking how they're not necessarily treating the kids, but what they're doing with the children?
Yeah, I mean the curriculum is there, which we follow, but I think there was elements that I was getting bored because we were in one room the whole day. So how it works being in a nursery is it's ratio based. So the younger the children, the smaller the ratio. So for example, children who are 3 months to under 2-year-olds, you'd have one member of staff to 3 children, and it progresses. But what the problem I was finding is we're in one room the whole day. There's a garden to go to, which is fine. I wanted to have something where our children can transition to different rooms, as well as the staff can also transition, because it's quite boring. If it's boring for you as an adult, it's going to be boring for you as a child. So I wanted to do something a bit more fun, exciting, and I wanted to have a place where they've got their base room, but then they can go into the garden, with supervision at all times, but also go into a different room and a different environment where it will get them exciting and, they can learn more. Children learn in different environments, whether that's indoor, outdoor. If you look at a child being at home and playing, and then the parents say, let's go to a soft play, it's that fun, exciting because they're going to do physical development. So I wanted to have that sort of same level as such, but again, following the rules.
So you would say that is what sets you apart from other nurseries. So you've got 2, right?
Yep. I'm doing our 3rd one. So that's where we're at the moment.
Good stuff. I remember being a kid going to nursery. I was a little shit back in the day. So I have some good memories. My question is, what's the difference between playgroup and nursery?
Okay, so the difference between is basically you can also use the terms of like a creche as well. Okay. So it's a playgroup and a creche and a nursery. The difference is the routine. It's also ongoing. So a playgroup, you can book sessions in and it's whenever it's needed. A creche is whenever it's needed. A nursery, it's a booked routine and your children are there. Our nursery is our quote is, we are a home from home nursery. So our nurseries are for children who are going to be there for longer days, longer hours. And, it gives the parents the ability to go to work and they know, okay, my child is booked in here every day. So that place is secure. So that's the difference. A creche and a playgroup is a parent can choose when they want to come in and out of that. And the sessions are very small as well. It can be something from like a 45-minute session to, I don't know, an hour, whereas a nursery is longer hours, it's routine, it's almost like a mini school. So they'll be going in, parents have booked them in, and their place is secure for their child to be there. So if you have a child and you're going to work Monday to Friday, you need childcare for your child, but you need it permanent. That's what a nursery is. That it's a permanent place for your child to be, unless you're going to move them to a different nursery. You know, but that's the difference of a play group. Also activity side, the learning side as well. A nursery is more learning and caring. A play group, the parents are there. And a creche, you can drop your child off and go for, like I said, it can be anything from 45 minutes to an hour, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half. But a nursery, you're dropping your child off to us, and we are caring for your child, and, you know, we are learning with them and teaching them, as well as helping them to develop their milestones, you know, and it's the best start of life in the nursery. So nursery for me, when I was little, it was in a school. So I remember being dropped off at 9 or 9:15 and getting picked up at 2:30, and it was complete different then to what it is now. There's so much more now. We've had to move with the society, and so much has come in, and so it's very different. The learning is always going to change, but you learn every day. So that's where we're at with that.
For a nursery, why do you think it's important for a child to go to nursery?
Okay, so it's a good question.
Because you don't have to go to nursery, right?
No, you don't have to go to nursery. There's lots of different elements to why it's good for a child to go to nursery. It's to build their social skills, is to develop their own development, to meet their milestones, and actually getting them ready for the next chapter, which is going to be school, which we do have to go to, unless you're going to homeschool them. It gives them a sense of freedom as well. And also that detachment of not being with your parents every day as well, it builds a better relationship as well. And you build social skills, and you're with friends, and you're learning. You do things that are more exciting. Like at home, parents might not want to do painting because it's going to go everywhere. Whereas at nursery, you can paint, you can draw, you can do messy play, you can get dirty. We always say, the more bags of dirty clothes that go home, the better. It just shows your child is having fun at nursery. It is about them exploring. It is about them having fun and freedom. And you are building social skills, and friendships as well, relationships. There's so much. A child is like a sponge, it needs to absorb so much. And you can only get that from different environments, different situations, different circumstances, and meeting different people as well. And so nurseries I think they're brilliant. I think it's really good. It's a good start. I've been very fortunate too. My children have been able to be in a nursery from the age of like 4 months all the way up. So we look after children from 3 months to 5 years old, and then they go to school. But then there's Holiday Club that we involve as well. So when half term comes for school children, we offer for children to come back to us, and we look after from 5 to 10-year-olds. So when I had my first child, I'll be really honest, he attended nursery when he was 3 weeks. But that was only because I went into the office and I had to let him, he had to go and sit down for like half an hour in a room with other members of staff, and they were caring for him. But he initially started when he was 4 months. And my daughter started when she was about 5 months. So that environment, that discipline, it's already there for them. That detachment, knowing that mummy's going to come and drop you off and go to work, that's already there as well. And I think it's very important for children to understand about being independent, but they can't do that unless you give them the tools. And those tools are going to come from what they're going to face, which is a different environment, having other people to care for you, not just for your, not your own family, but it's strangers. It's building that relationship, that confidence, that, gaining to be with somebody else that's not just your own. So it's a learn of trust as well. And it is hard, don't get me wrong, it's very hard, but it's when you're there, it's amazing.
So do you work there full time, or do you a member of staff that do there?
So so just going back a little bit, so when I started the nursery off, I mean, we'll get to how I started it off, but I was working from So our nurseries are open from 7 till 7.
Oh, wow.
I was there at 5:30, 6 in the morning with my partner, business partner, Joanne, and we were leaving at 6:30, 7, maybe sometimes even 7:30, 8. It depends. If the children are gone home, that's fine. We'll go, the nursery's shut, it's fine, we'll go home. If I'll be honest with you, most days we were doing 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning till about 7:30, 7:45, because once the children have gone, we're cleaning as well. You clean day to day anyway, as you clean as you go, but it's the overall cleaning and the preparation for the next morning. I must have done about 5:30, 6 o'clock for about 7, 8 years.
Wow.
No holidays.
Damn.
Weekends were again to sort out our nursery, making sure that all the equipment's there. Equipment needs ordering, the cleaning of the nursery, extra training, the prep for the following week. We must have done this for about 7, 8 years, and I still do it, but I don't do that much now. It's condensed down. So now what I do is I do a 9:30 to about 5:30. I've got a really good team now.
Yeah,
I've had a good team, but I have got I've got a team that's a family.
Yeah.
The nursery lifestyle is it's not a 9 till 5 job. You have to go above and beyond. You've got to have the passion for it. And where I'm at the moment, I'm very, very fortunate. The team that I've got now, it's a dream team.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah, I could imagine when working with kids, doing a business that is solely dedicated to kids, you don't really hear that often.
Yeah.
It's not on Instagram. People are not saying, "Oh yeah, this is a new business to do. Set up a nursery." So I can only respect you and commend you for doing that, because I could imagine it being very demanding. Like you said, you've been working for 7 years, grinding, waking up at 5:30. Is this because kids are parents are dropping their kids off?
We used to have a lot. So it's you have to go with the time and you have to go with the situation as well. So a lot of our parents, a lot of our clients, they needed a nursery that they were dropping off at 7 o'clock in the morning because they've got to get into the city. So they've got to catch the train. So I worked in the Essex nursery more. So this is, so the other one's got a different time. So a lot of our parents are dropping off at 7 o'clock in the morning and they need to go and catch that train. They need to go and find parking. They need to get there. And then on the flip side of it, they need to get back in time. So if they're doing a 9 till 5 job, they're finishing at 5, it's going to take them an hour and a half to get to go and collect their child. That's why we opened it as a 7 till 7. We were looking at different times, but I think this time, the 7 till 7 worked for our parents, and it still does work. I've just got a lot of passion for it, to be honest, and I want it to be right. So I can't ask for it to be right if I don't put my effort in. I can't lead by example, if I actually don't do it. So, a lot of people say, lead by example, do it how I'm doing it. But if your team is not looking at what you're doing, if your clients are not looking at what you're doing, you can't be that lead by example person.
Yep.
So it was hard, it's still hard, but I've got in my heart, there's a box there that says passion and love and devotion. And that's what motivates me to do it. Did it then and will still do it. I've cut back a little bit now and I'm doing a 9:30, 5:30, but that's because I'm a mother now. And and I devoted a very long time to build Blossoms is my first baby and it will always be my first baby, but I've become a mum as well to 2 other children who they need their mum and they need my time as well. So I feel I spent the first 7, 8 years building a team. I've had knockbacks as well, where I thought, do you know what? I'm here with this person. This person can handle this. They haven't been able to, for whatever reason, whether they agreed, disagreed. I've learned a lot, but my management team, I would call them, that I have are absolutely amazing. They are 7 years long standing. Oh, wow.
So they've been with you from the start?
Yep. I would say about a year after or 2 years after I've started. So majority of my team have been 5 years plus with me. My management team is 7 years plus. So, some of them have been with us for 10 years. Some have been for 7 years, some for 8. Some have been there, right from the beginning. And I'm very fortunate. And when we try to, it's really, really random, but I had this conversation with one of my team members, and I said, she's part of the management team, and I said, it's really bizarre because we've got a circle of 5, you know, or 6 or 7. And we're the long-standing ones, so we know what the ethos was from the beginning, what we wanted, you know, what our motive is, you know, what our story is. It's like when we bring somebody else in, it doesn't work, and we've tried. So it's who we have. They've grown with us. Yep. It's amazing. I'm not saying people who have joined us, they've not been brilliant, because they've been really good, you know, but they've got their own life to live, you know, they've left for whatever reasons. You know, they've got different part of their element that they want to grow. But it's like when we bring somebody else in, it's just not worked. Yeah. So what we have, it works, and why rock it? So, but then I've got to also think as well, I've got a personal life as well, and that was on hold for many years. Yeah. And I don't regret that at all, but it's like I need to give time to my family as well. No, definitely. So, yeah.
One thing I would always say is someone that is passionate about what they do is the most important thing when it comes to doing a business, going to work, even going to gym or whatever it is. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with is finding what they're passionate about, what they literally are motivated to wake up to do. Because that's something I struggle with. Yeah. Finding what do I find that's motivating and purposeful for me to wake up and actually, when I'm feeling down, feeling low, I need to do this. And like you said, when working with kids, you're like you said, a mother figure to them when their parents aren't there. So keep it up. We are definitely their parents. So when I always say this to my team, when, you know, some of them, I work with a mixture of age group. I've got those who are apprentices who are very young and they're starting out in this career. And I've got those who are my age group who are parents to their own children, and they've been doing childcare for a long time. And then we've got the old, I don't want to say older generation, it's not that, but the older age group where they are grandparents, and they work with us as well, and they will give us the experience and they will give us their knowledge. And I work in a really good environment where I have lots of different age groups, and I learn a lot. I learn a lot from everybody. They learn from me, but I learn a lot from them. And you know, it's you've got to have the passion to be in this field. Yeah. A lot of people will say, oh, you work in a nursery, you get to play with children every day. That's the number one thing. That's the first thing they'll say, oh, they're so cute, you get to play with them. They actually don't. When you unravel, you know, what you have to do to be in the nursery field, there's so much more. You've got to make sure that the children are safe, they're happy, they're learning, they're meeting their development. We aren't just play teachers, if people want to call us. You know, we don't just play with children every day. We're beyond that. You know, we are caring, we are we're everything. Yeah. Sometimes we've got to be doctors, sometimes we've got to be therapists, sometimes we've got to be teachers, we've got to be a mummy, we've got to be a daddy, we've got to be a chef, we've got to be cleaners. We're everything. Yeah. But people don't see that. They just see, oh, you play with children every day. I wish that was the case, but it's not. I think the childcare field doesn't get enough credit. And it's been like that for years. And a lot of people are very quick to judge, to say it's an endless job. It's not. It's what you make of it. You know, I started off when I was just going back before I worked in a nursery, when I was younger, in my summer holidays, I used to be a volunteer in nurseries, and I would just go and help to get the experience, 13, 14 years old. Now, some 13, 14-year-olds want to go out, play, want to go and see their friends. Not me. Yeah. I wanted to go and learn in nurseries. And I think that helped me so much. My mum listened to me when I said, I want to go to my cousin's nursery. Can you ask them, can I go there? And they'll say, yep, she can come in. You know, she can. There's only certain things she was allowed to do. It was more for me to go and play. Yeah. I was allowed to play. I wasn't allowed to do the personal care or anything like that. But I learned so much. I watched everybody and I learned from there. And my passion just grew more and more. So, I don't think the childcare field gets enough credit. And it's so lovely that the fact that you've called me on here today to speak about it, because, you know, I hope it wakens people up to understand what nursery goes through. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it sounds demanding, very demanding. Is, I think, but do you think you have to be a certain type of person? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I always say this, if you are looking for a job,
you can go and work anywhere. You can go and do it whatever you want. But to work in a childcare field, to work with children, you've got to have the passion for it. You've got to have the love and devotion for it. You are responsible for that child, you know, and you are nurturing them to become, you know, a human being. They're little humans anyway, but to get all those tools and elements, you are that person to, you know, to be giving it to them. Parents are working, they're trusting us to look after their little ones. And that's a massive responsibility. It's really big. And, you know, it takes, I'm a true believer. You probably heard this saying, you know, they say, if it was easy, everybody will be doing it.
Yeah.
That's my quote. And I go by that all the time. You know, it's not easy. You know, I get worried about looking after somebody else's child every day, and I should have that fear because I need to make sure that I am fulfilling that, you know, and I am meeting all the requirements, and I've got to make sure that my team's doing the same. And if they're not, it is my responsibility. I have to make sure that it's getting done. If it's not, you can't work here. You know, I don't trust you to be working with the children. You know, today, you know, you've come in moody. I won't let you in the playroom. You need to go and sort yourself out, or you have to go home, because how you feel is how the children are going to be feeling. And if I be really honest, our clients aren't paying us to be having moody staff members or unhappy staff members. You've got to be, you put on a face. You know, you could be going through personal problems at home. You could be really tired, but the minute you walk through our doors, do you know what? You put on this front if you want to. You've got to be there. But if you don't have the passion for this, you can't do the job.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I was thinking, how do nurseries actually make money?
How do they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it literally from the parents just?
No. So how it works is, so all children, there's a lot of things that are coming into place. I'm glad you actually spoke about this. So how we make money as a nursery. Every child at the age of 3 years old gets funding of 15 hours. The government will give, it's automatic. All children are entitled to that. So it's government funding that gets given. 15 hours. There's a new thing that came into place a couple of years ago where if there's a 30 hours funding that you can get, but parents have to meet a criteria. That's something different. Okay. So automatically, when you're 3 years old, you get 15 hours funding regardless. And all nurseries will be giving that. But you have to top that up. So if parents wanted, for example, a full day session from me, they've got to pay on top of that. But then you've got those, so obviously we look after from 3 months, but from 3 months to the 3 years old, you do have to pay for that. There is 2 years funding as well, but again, it's a criteria, is your child eligible for that? Parents do pay, and it is expensive, and I totally understand it, but the insurance is high on that as well. Ratio is small. The funding, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen it, the government's got the whole 15 hours free childcare, 30 hours free childcare. We have a lot of clients who would then say, well, it's free, but they don't understand what that means. It's not free. You know, they will pay certain amount towards your child's funding, but you've got to find the rest, as in me, the nursery, you know, we have to find it. They're putting up minimum wage, so then the pay scheme, the hierarchy changes. So if I've got to pay my manager X amount, I've got to pay my deputy, I've got to pay my senior, I've got to pay my chef. So it is hard. It's very, very hard, where a lot of people say, oh, you know, nurseries make so much money. Yeah, they do. But the outgoings is so much, you know, it's unbelievable. I'll give you an example. One of our baby chairs, you know, they are like £60 plus VAT on top. Oh, wow. A table, probably the size of this table, is like £350 plus, you know, VAT. Because I don't believe in plastic toys as much. You know, I'm very wooden and very natural resources, you know, and you need something that's going to be long standing. But for nurseries to make money, there is money involved in it. Definitely, you can make money, but it's how you make it. The bigger your nursery, the more you employ, you've got to pay out more, because the ratio changes, and you've got to have without ratio you cannot run a nursery. That is the guideline. You can't dismiss that.
What do we mean by ratio?
So it's how many members of staff to how many children you can look after. So with under 2-year-olds, it's 1 member of staff, and they can look after 3 children. When they are the age between 2 to 3-year-olds, it's 1 member of staff to 4. And then when they get to 3 to 5-year-olds, it changes from 1 member of staff to 8 children. So you've got to calculate, okay, well, how many children do we have in the building? So I can have 55 in one day. So how many staff members do I need? Because how many children do I have? So you've got to make sure you're following all the guidelines and you're not breaking the rules, as well as, can I afford this? Can I pay this? Do I have to open another room? Do I close another room? Do I cut back on this, or do I bring this in? It's always a circle, always. We don't have a product on the shelf. You know, I'm a product. It's what I'm going to offer to my clients, what my team's going to offer to my clients. That we are the product. We don't have something that can just be left on the shelf, and do half price. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You are caring, and you've got to sell yourself. You've got to be the best. It's really funny. Do you know when you hear like sports specialists or you hear singers or anything like that, and they say, you've got to get in the game. It's a bit like that for us as well. It's a vicious game, because it is. You have a lot of competitors. I'll be really honest, opening the nursery, I came across quite a lot of people that are very competitive, and instead of I would champion people, but I had a lot of people that didn't want to champion me, and I found that very hard. But you know what, it made me more tough, and I carried on going.
How do you compete with other nurseries? Like, what's the boundaries? Is it the type of activities you're doing? Is it the hours? Like, how does that play out?
So I do feel there's enough children for everybody. I do believe in sharing. I do believe in, working together, but that doesn't always happen. So there's lots of different things that you can offer. So for me, my opening and closing hours, what's included in the fees that you're paying. A lot of nurseries will say, okay, you've got, we're only open from 7:30 to 6:30. This is the cost. And then you've got to pay, for example, nappies and wipes on top, or you've got to bring that in. For me, I will say, okay, do you know what? I include everything in my fees. It's a one-off fee. This is what you're going to pay every month. Everything's included. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's all covered. But your timings, it is also the different activities. A lot of our children, we go on a lot of trips. I know nurseries don't do that. Not a lot of nurseries do. We go on a lot of trips, and that's a selling point as well. How happy is your child going to be when they come in? A smile, wins it all over. It's going that extra mile to help your parents. I have clients who are phoning in and say, I have no one to look after my child tomorrow. Is there space for an extra for them to do tomorrow? Some nurseries might say no. If I've got the availability, I always say yeah. I always keep, a certain amount spaces open that I don't cover, which I leave for emergency childcare, because we do get phone calls to say, something's happened, I need my child to come in tomorrow, do you have the space? Again, I've got to make sure they're in ratio. So you have, every day is something new. So you can offer, you've got to offer the basic, but it's going to that extra mile. When you're opening that door and you see that parent and just asking them the whole, how you been? So you been okay? What's your day like? You've got to be personal with them as well. So what's different from my nursery is it is longer hours. It is being personal with the parents, not overstepping the mark, but for them to reassure them, no, you know what, we're here for you as well. It's parent partnership. It's it's the activities that we do offer to the children as well, and it's also the external agencies that come in. We have Spanish that comes in. We have a sports company that comes in. We've got an ICT company that comes in. It's offering different ranges. As long as your child's happy and they're learning, and you've got a good relationship with parents, you're winning. Simple as that. You're winning.
Yeah. One question I wanted to ask, I had another guest on that deals with kids as well. He mentioned that because he does a lot with fatherhood. Okay. How is it like in a nursery when it comes to fatherhood? Do you find that most of the time it's a mother that is bringing their child in, picking them up? Do you see a lot of father involvement with the kids?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't have just females. It is males as well. We have mum and dad come to drop off. Not just that as well. And I think we also have like grandparents, and we have like uncles and aunties. We have quite a good range, but we do have a lot of men that come and drop off, pick up their child, will get involved. So we have activities or events where we will involve the dads to come in, and they'll come and they'll join in, and I'm also very diverse as well. It's not just how can I put it? When it comes to children, people just think straight away, it's a woman's thing. It's not. We try to get the dads involved, and it's so important. And it's teaching children that as well. We've got boys and girls in our nursery. They need to know the equality of, what's coming forward for them. I don't have any males working for me, but I wish I did. I had one. Or two, sorry, I should have two, but their roles are very different. They weren't hands-on with the children. They were doing other roles. You know, I had a chef and I had somebody who's working alongside me, management team doing it. But I would love to have more, I would like to see actually more male practitioners. And I think it'd be so good for the children. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah.
So they need to come forward a bit more.
Having that mix, yes. So if anyone's listening, any fathers, males out there.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. We didn't actually speak about how you got started with the nursery. Okay. I'm just waiting on time, touching upon, you know, how you started out. At what point did you think, I want to set up my own one? What was the motivation behind it?
So am I allowed to mention my business partner's name?
Yeah. Okay.
So I worked in a chain of a nursery, and you know, I had a time in my life. I was in my early 20s. I was really enjoying my job. I absolutely loved it. And the people that I was working with as well, loved them, got on really, really well. And then I met Joanne. She's my business partner. She's everything. She's my mum. She's my child. She's an angel. She's everything. So me and Joanne started working together, and she's a lot older than me. She's got a lot more experience, and she's a pastor at a church as well. And I'm quite religious as well. I'm very spiritual as well, and you know, I believe in timing. Yeah. Joanne came in one day and she just said to me, we need to go and do something together. I said, yeah, we do. It looked like as if we were joking, but we were serious. She went, we need to go and do something together. And I said, you know what? Yeah, we do. She went, we should just go and be childminders and go from there. And I went, I think it's a good idea, Joanne. And we just decided from there. We just put our heads together. I'm not joking. Literally, it was, right, here's a cup. This is how much money I've got. Yeah. This is how much money she's got. What we're going to do. Opening a nursery is a lot of money. It's not just about the location, it's the building, it's the safety aspect as well. It's a lot. But we couldn't get to that yet. Yeah. We had to start, we had to go, you can't run before you walk. Yeah. So we became childminders. So we had to become childminders, and we thought, okay, well, where are we going to do that? So Joanne said, okay, well, my house, we can do it at my house. So we said, okay, that's fine. I was living in a flat then. I was like, it's not going to be, you know, good for me to do it from there. So we started at Joanne's. So it was a house, and we became childminders. We were registered. We had everything in place. And where we were, and this is going to sound like, I don't know how to kind of put it, but a lot of people knew who we were. Okay. Word had spread that these two have left to go and do their own thing. And we were headhunted by a lot of people, because where we were, it's quite a small village, and we were headhunted, and people were saying, oh, you know, we've heard, you know, you're doing your own thing. We want to put our child in. We're like, okay, that's fine. So obviously we had to kind of think, okay, well, we can't charge a lot. We can't charge less. So we've got to meet in the middle. We were offering childcare half the price of what nurseries were. Yeah. And obviously being a childminder, you can only have a certain amount of children. So we were there for a couple of months, and then we decided to leave from there and rent a property, which was we were allowed to do. We followed all the rules and regulations, everything, all the boxes were ticked. And then we started there, and we were allowed to have more children. So from having 6 or 7 a day, we were then allowed to have 18 children. But then to have 18 children a day, you have to employ more staff. Okay. We actually started the business off in Joanne's living room. That's how we started. Yeah, and then, so that when people say to me, well, how did you start? The honest truth is we started in the living room. When we got the other place, we were allowed to have 18 children. We needed to have more members of staff. When you start a business off, you've got to understand you're not going to make money in the first year. You might not even make it in the second year either. You either got to have a backup of your finance, or you need to have a good support network around you. And that's what me and Joanne were, good support for ourselves and together. And we were surrounded with good support as well. When we started from Joanne's, we moved across, we had to employ somebody, maybe 2 or 3. Well, how are we going to pay them? Because are we making enough money? Yeah. Are we going to be able to afford to do this? And I'll be really honest, we prayed and it just worked. And we were able to pay staff members, and we were able to build whatever myself and Joanne were making was going back in. We weren't taking this money and saying, okay, do you know what? I'm going to go buy myself a designer handbag. I'm going to go on holidays. I'm going to get a new car. I'm going to go and buy a house. We still don't do that. Yeah. 12 years on, we still don't do that. Whatever we made, we put back in and we reinvested. So from starting from a living room to then renting a house to then we said, okay, it's time for us to move because we're getting bigger, we're getting busier. Yeah. So how are we going to do this? And I honestly can say I was sitting down in the office and I was looking for a location and I was looking for somewhere and I was going, please God, come on, you've got to find me this next stage that we've got to get to. What is it? Joanne had a dream that we were going to move somewhere which was an endless circle. Yeah. So where it starts, it finishes, if that makes sense. And I was going, that doesn't make sense. And I kept saying, I need somewhere that's got a pond. There's got to be some natural wildlife. I want a really big garden for our children. Now we've got a standard garden. I want a massive garden. A couple of weeks later, we found the place.
Wow.
And where we are in our Essex nursery, where it starts from, it finishes. That makes sense, the building. It goes around in a circle. Yeah. And our garden is like a park. And we just couldn't believe it. And we went there, we saw it. Before we were going to sign, me and Joanne had to have a good chat. And I said to her, I'm not going to do this for greed, power, money. We've got to stay focused while we're doing this in the first place, you know, to build our children, our parents, and build a good team, you know. And if you're not on the same page, we can't do this. Yeah. And she said, nope, I'm there. So everything that we had in our little pot that grew to a bucket, to a bigger size, you know, we're sitting here now 12 years. Yeah. Has it been easy? No. Have we had financial difficulties? Yes. Has it been our fault? No. Has it been because we've not been paid on time by clients or the funding hasn't come in? Yes. I'll be really honest. I think a lot of people won't sit here and say that, but I will say that. It has been really, really hard. You know, would I change any of it? No. Yeah. Because I've grown from it and I've learned. So we're still growing. We're still learning. I'm not there yet. I don't know if I'll ever be there yet, but you know, all I know is that from us starting off in the living room to then gambling and thinking, okay, should we go and rent somewhere and trial that? But we've got to take on 2 people or 3 people. We've got to be responsible to pay for them. Can we do that? We were able to do it. And then from there was like, right, okay, well, we're getting so busy. We want to move to the next step. What is it? You know, and I was messing around saying, well, I just want a big garden and I just want this and I want that. And all Joanne kept saying is, well, all I know is I've been told, you know, because she's a religious person, you know, she's a pastor of church. She said, well, I've been told by God, wherever it starts, it's going to finish. This building just came. And we've been in there for 11 years and it's amazing. And we're very, very, very fortunate. We're very blessed. We're very lucky. We never take advantage of anything in our lives. I never do. I respect everybody who's worked for me, is still working for me. Clients who have been with us, have bought their 2nd, 3rd child with us, you know, and they're recommending. I do advertise, but if I'll be really honest to you, it's word of recommendation. You know, and we're very lucky to have that. You know, we're in this whole, there's social media involved. You know, I take over all the social media. You know, I've got to do all the editing. I've got to do all the taking the photos, the videoing, everything. That's very time consuming. That's a job in itself. Yeah. But I've got to fit that in as well as be present at work, be with my children, you know, be with my husband, be with my family, you know, be with my friends. How does one person fit that in? Yeah. I don't know. But it works.
You're a prime example. That's a very inspirational story, that is. Yeah. I'll be waiting for your book to come out.
Do you know what? Everyone says that to me. They're like, are you going to write a book? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that's something that's going to come. But I do write everything down. Yeah. I don't tell a lot of people that, well, they all know now, but I do record a lot of things that have happened. I've had loads of experiences. You've got to have a lot of knockbacks to keep going. Yep. If someone said to me, did you ever want to give up? Yeah, 100%. There's a laughing joke, but I always say, oh, cool, I'm deteriorating. Yeah. I'm not actually. I'm actually growing. I learn from things. It's not always easy. Yeah. People think it's easy being in childcare. You know, it's not. It's really hard, you know. You've got to, you know, there's safeguarding, there's training, there's looking after your clients, looking after your children, but you've also got to look after your employees, because if you don't look after them, you've got no business. They're going to leave, and I've had a lot of people come and go, but a lot of our people that come and work for us, they have a story. They have a situation of why they've came to us and what they want from us. Some people have English as a second language. Some are single parents. Some have a disability. Some have no qualifications in childcare. Some have the passion but have not had the chance. Yeah. You know, and we are those people. Myself and Joan, we build people. We do. You know, I don't know how to kind of just explain it apart from that, but we do build people. You know, we build not just their CPD but also themselves. If you've got the passion for this field and you want it, well, we're there. We have a lot of people that come to us to come work for us, and they're single parent, or they need help with childcare. we're there for them.
Yeah.
There's nothing anyone can come and say to me that I haven't done for people that I have done. Has it hurt me? Yes. Has it made me feel happy? Yes. Not happy as in ego, happy as in, do you know what? I've been able to make a difference. Joanne's been able to make a difference. Our nursery's been able to make a difference for someone. And that's all I can take from it.
Yeah.
You know? But if you would say to me, Bobbie, what would you change? I don't think I'll change any of it.
No?
Nothing at all.
On that topic, if you were to go back,
Yeah.
what would you do differently?
What would I do differently? I think I'll wear my heart on my sleeve a lot. I'm a sucker for a story. If you came, you know, and I need to sometimes understand, are you being honest or are you trying to lure me somewhere and try and get your way? So if I was to go back and change anything, I think I'd sit down and analyse a bit more and not just fall for the sob story that I hear straight away, because it's not always true. And I've learnt that, you know, and I'll probably still sit here saying I'm still learning it, but I think I don't think I'll change anything else. I think, to be honest, I think I'm just analysing a bit more and understanding a bit more. What is this true? What's coming in front of me, instead of falling for it straight away. But then that's the field that I'm in. I'm in a child care field. You know, I have to care for children. Our field is very personal. So you not only are you personal with the children and the parents, but you are personal with the clients that are coming your way. I remember when we were starting out, because I was quite a fiery person. People probably say I still am. This being unprofessionally, not in my professional game, you know, but unprofessionally, I'm quite fiery. If I've got a passion for something and I know something's right, I will fight for that.
Stand for it, yeah.
When we were starting out, actually, we was at an event, and somebody that knew of us, he randomly just came and stood in front of me, and I was sitting down, and he went to me, "You're never going to make millions." And I went, "Pardon?" And he went, in front of everyone, he went, "You're never going to make millions, and you're never going to be able to make a difference. I don't know why you're bothering."
Wow.
I did stand up, and I was going to go full in. But Joanne grabbed my hand and sat me down and said to me, "You're better than that." And she said, "You don't need to say it, you need to show it."
Yep.
And a couple of years later, he did see me and he apologised. And I'd forgotten about it, to be honest. And I said to him, "Do you know what? It did hurt me what you said, but do you know what? We carried on going." And but back then, even now, I still think, well, why do people be nasty and horrible? But it does make you stronger. It 100% makes you stronger. And I love what I'm doing. You know, I love what I'm doing. I enjoy it. It's fun. I get to go to a place where I can get involved in messy play, painting. I can be a child again. I haven't got to sit in front of a screen every day.
Yeah.
You know, I know we do have to do that, but I have the option. I can move. I can go downstairs. I can go into the office. I can go outside and I can do marketing. I can meet wonderful people.
Yeah.
I have met some amazing people, and it's been really good. You know, and I do enjoy it. It is hard, but if you're, like I keep saying, you know, if you don't have the passion for it, you can't do it.
Yeah. All I can say is keep it up, Bobbie.
Thank you.
Honestly, keep it up. It's a great inspiration. Strong, independent woman. It's amazing.
Thank you.
We didn't touch upon failures.
Okay.
I'm just weird at the time.
Yeah.
But failures. What has been the biggest failure for you so far? It doesn't even have to be with the nursery. It could be something personal. Have you tried to do something alongside nursery and it's failed, or have you only?
I've always stayed
stuck
in
to nursery?
The childcare field. If I'll be really honest, it's what I'm good at, and I know. So I haven't really tried to venture to anything else apart from this. There might be something coming in the pipeline, but I don't want to say yet.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a bit nervous about that. But I think when people, how can I put it? I can do so much for somebody, and they will take, and be nice to me. But when they show me a different character of themselves and be nasty about me, that hurts. That hurts a lot. That's happened with friendship, relationships. That hurts a lot. The thing is, when I started the nursery, I had a lot of people around me. I had a very big circle. And as time went on, the circle went smaller and smaller and smaller. Did it hurt at the time? Yeah. A lot of people didn't believe in me, or a lot of people would egg me on, but talk behind me, behind my back. And I think that will hurt a lot as well. And somebody will come and say, "Oh, you know what? I need to, do you have a job? Because I've got this issue coming up." And I would say, yeah, it's fine. Listen, we can get you in, no problem. You meet the criteria, it's fine, let's go. but I come off looking as a bad person, and that really hurts. And as strong as I am, it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
But I will keep going because I'm learning from it. I'm now at my point in my life. I'm a mother figure to 2 of my own children now, and they're going to look at me and say, "Well, if mum keeps giving up, if mum gets upset, we're going to do the same."
Yeah.
So I think how people have treated me, that's really hurt. It's left a good imprint on me, but I look at that imprint and think, do you know what? I can keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Really.
Made you stronger.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to understand, it doesn't matter what business you go into, you've got to expect knockbacks, failures, what people say about you, what they might write about you, what they might pass on about you. All these things come into place. But like I said, it does make you stronger.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, success. What's been your biggest success? One that you can say, I'm really proud.
My team.
Your team.
100%.
Yeah.
I have.
You can shout them out if you want, all the names.
There's too many, I can't. They'll be like, you've forgotten me. My management team are absolutely, they are my absolute rock. You know, not just myself and Joanne, you know, there's all of them. There's people who are working for me now. Those who have worked with me have left and ventured on to do something different. You know, it's so lovely to hear. I worked at Blossoms Nursery, and because of that, I've been able to do this now, and you know, and my pay's changed, and I've success to do this, or you know, whatever. I feel so happy. I've been able to make that change. You don't have to work with me or for me to be successful. You know, for them to been able to learn from me or learn from our nursery or to gain the qualification or the experience, they've ventured off to go and do something different, and now they're doing something amazing. You know. But then they'll give me a shout out, which is so good. Yeah. But I'm really, really, really happy with my team. You know, everything comes with it, good, bad, the ugly, you know, but what I'm proud of is my team, because my team is what makes Blossoms Nursery. Yeah. Myself and Joanne, we set the foundation and we are there, but without them, we're nothing. So you know what? Shout out to my team.
That's wicked. They're amazing. Shout out to Blossoms team.
Blossoms, yep.
Yes.
100%.
That's it.
100%.
Future plans for Blossoms.
Oh, okay.
Where do we want to go? What is the end goal for Blossoms?
Have a 10-year plan.
Yes.
It was 5 years, but my children came, so it's now extended to 10. I've had 2 opportunities to do a nursery overseas.
Oh, wow.
And in 2 different places.
That's wicked.
But in 10 years' time, I would like to have at least been able to go and make one of them. So I would like Blossoms to be overseas. It's going to take time, and it's going to be a lot of experience. First of all, I've got to be confident to be on a plane, because I don't like airplanes.
No, you don't.
I do go on them, but I've got to be confident to be able to go on a plane and go. So have our Blossoms Nursery overseas, definitely. That'll be amazing. 100%.
That'll be so wicked.
You know, our quote is, you know, empowering children for greatness. So I need to spread that. I need that to be lifted and to come out of England and to go overseas.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for that.
Yeah, you'll be coming, don't worry.
Yeah. I'll be waiting for that. I'm just weird at time. So every guest, I asked them a set of questions.
Okay.
Just to see perspective and so on. Obviously, the first one is superpower. If Bobbie had a superpower, what would it be, and how would you impact the world with it? How would you use it to impact the world?
Okay, so superpower, how would I impact with it? I think, I know a lot of people probably say this, time. Time is something that we actually don't get back. I would like to go back in time, not to change anything, to go back and have a look and see what the situation was or what happened, and how I can use that to go forward with it. Yeah. So I would like to go back and look at the good times and look at the bad times and learn more from the bad times and sort of have that in my pocket, but go back and look at the good times and say, okay, do you know what? That was really good then. So when I'm feeling down now in the present, I need to pick that up, put it in myself and go forward with it. So I will definitely say time.
Yeah, I like that one, because sometimes you can always, you go through an experience, but you don't necessarily learn from it.
Yeah.
And being able to see that, you'll be able to learn from it.
Yeah. Joanne always says to me, when I always say, Joanne, why has this happened? I'm so cross, I'm so angry. And she always says to me, because you've got to learn from it, my dear. That's her line, my dear.
Yeah. Advice. What would you give advice to someone starting out on a similar journey to you? Not necessarily a nursery, but obviously you're a woman of many things. What advice would you give to? Because I have a feeling that females don't necessarily push their entrepreneurial side, and I think you're a prime example of that, or a good example.
Yeah, definitely. I'm opposite. You need to. I champion women, to be successful and to keep going. So my quote would be, if you believe in it, don't give up.
Yeah.
If you believe in your passion, don't give up. Keep going. You're gonna have all the knockbacks. You're gonna have people tell you you're a failure. It's not gonna work. You just need to keep going. If you believe it, go for it.
That's it. I love it. Who's had the most significant impact on your life and why? Could be dead or alive.
My mum.
Yeah.
So my mum raised 3 children on her own. Single parent.
Okay.
My dad left when I was 5. So she has been my she's our rock, not just mine, everyone in my family. I have got my uncle, I have got my auntie, and I have got Joanne. But ultimate, it is my mum. She raised 3 children on her own. I will say, if you don't mind me saying, she always says, I raised 3 brats. She calls us brats. So in our phone, we're brat number 1, 2, and 3. She's raised 3 of us on her own, and I watched her time, her devotion. She's a businesswoman as well. And I learned a lot of skills from my mum. She was a very good role model, really, really good. She still is. She's an amazing role model to my children. So 100%. I know a lot of people say, my mum, but honestly, my mum is an absolute rock. She has, she's definitely a definition of, an inspiration person.
Yeah.
So my mum, 100% mum.
Shout out to Mumsy. Yes. Shout out to Mumsy. Nice one. The quote I said to you at the start, what is that one quote? I don't know if you mentioned it in the pod, but what is that one quote when you're feeling down? You're going to the nursery, you can't be bothered. What is that one quote that gets you going?
If it was easy, we would all be doing it. This motivates me every day, because when I want to give up because of how people are going on, it's not the job, it's the people. That's what brings you down. And I think, do you know what? I've got a responsibility. I've got responsibility of the 200 or 300 children who are on our register, who come to us. I'm responsible for the parents. I'm responsible for the team. I can't give up.
Yep.
12 years ago, I signed to say I'm doing this for all the reasons. And if I keep bringing other people's opinions and negativity down, I've failed.
Yeah.
So, and it's not easy. So I am one of those blessed and lucky people. I've been put forward to do this, so I'm going to do it. And not everybody can do my job. Yeah. So, that's my quote. And I do believe by that. It's not my quote, though, but it's just a quote that I found
no, definitely. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Like I said, it's a very inspirational story that you've got behind you. You're a very strong, devoted woman. And that's all you can keep doing. So, with my guests, I get them to write a question in here for you to answer. Okay. But my last guest, I actually forgot for him to write it down. Okay. I think I asked you the previous guest, so I'm going to ask you this one. Okay. Do you believe in purpose? And if so, what is your purpose?
Do I believe in a purpose? And if so?
What is your purpose if you do?
Yeah, I do. There is a purpose. I feel I make a change, a good change, just to most people. And I do believe in it. I believed in that, hence why I'm sitting here 12 years later. So I do believe in a purpose, and I believe that my purpose is to bring that change and to inspire other people, whether they own their own business, whether they work for somebody, or they're going to start their own business. And I also believe that I'm a working mum as well. I didn't mention that, but I've got 2 little ones under the age of 5. It took me a very long time for me to have them, and now they're here. I've got to be that example, and I've got to be that change. I want people to understand that, if you want to make a change in life, you can do it, but you've got to have all the facts, you've got to have all the tools to go and do it. So I 100% do believe in that. Yeah, that's my purpose of changing things for the better. It's
always a good one to have.
Yeah.
And you are making a change, making change to people's lives.
I hope
so. Yeah, especially from a young age.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing,
Thank
Bobbie.
you.
So that wraps up. It's been an amazing conversation that I've had with you. Where can the people find you if you want to put your socials where they can find the nursery, I don't know if you have a personal Instagram account or anything like that.
I do, but do you know what? It's really funny. So I had to, my personal Instagram account is actually, all my social medias of my personal ones are all closed. I was getting lots of DMs and so basically we do have the nursery Instagram.
Yeah, we can do that one.
So we have the Blossoms Nursery, which is a Blossoms Nursery Limited group on Instagram. We have our website, which is www.blossomsnurseryltd.com. Look us up.
Perfect. Nice one, Bobbie. It's been amazing. Guys, I will catch you on the next episode. Peace.